This is a compilation of all the videos for the Ultimate Chart Tools Quick Start Guide. In this segment, we're going to talk about the band creation methods and how the basing candle interacts with those band creation methods based on your settings. And this is unique to the Ultimate version of tools. Here's an example of a drop-base rally pattern, and we're going to explain to you what the base is. So in this scenario here, you have your leg end candle, you have your basing candle. It is the candle in which price never closed higher or lower than, because you can see here, it doesn't really matter whether this was the open or the close, but you can see it's within the basing candle for all three of these candles. So this is the base. These are the base candles that are contained within the basing candle, and this is the leg out candle. And so for just a quick addition, the leg end strength based on the ATR of the prior number of candles you've chosen, the default is 14. It would compare the leg end strength and the leg out strength based on your settings. One of the key settings that we have that affects how a base is drawn for the basing candle method is whether or not you include the basing candle as part of the base. So if you do include the basing candle, this would be the high of the base. But in this case here, if you do not include the basing candle, you can see that this wick is the highest part of the base that would be included for setting up the basing creation method. And then this would be the low of the base in this scenario. So let's walk through what happens if the basing candle is not included as part of the base. So in this case, we are focusing on just these 1, 2, 3 base candles and ignoring the basing candle. So for base creation method 1, the proximal line is the lowest candle body top in the base. So if you look over here, you've got in green BCM1 proximal line. So this shows you where the proximal line would be drawn. Okay, so it is the lowest candle body. And then the distal is drawn at the lowest point in the base, which is this wick here. For BCM2, the proximal line is the high of the candle with the lowest candle body. So this is the lowest candle body, and here's the high, the wick, and so this is where the proximal line will be drawn for BCM2. For BCM3, the proximal line is the highest candle body top in the base. So in this scenario, this is the highest body, and so you would draw your proximal line here. For base creation method 4, the proximal line is the high of the candle with the highest candle body top in the base. Okay, so this is the highest candle body, and this is the top of it. So this wick would be the top for BCM4. For base creation method 5, the proximal line is the high of the base. And in this case, you can see this is the high of the base. These are the 1, 2, 3 base candles. This is the high. So this would be also for number 5. You would have the same proximal line as 4. BCM6, the proximal line is the high of the basing candle. And so in this scenario here, this would be your high. So you can see that you have a much wider base when you're using this scenario. Okay. For BCM 1 through 5, the distal line is the lowest low of the leg in, the leg out, or the base. So in this case, wick is the lowest low. If by some chance this leg in had a long wick that exceeded past this low, it would become the distal. Same thing for the leg out. If it had a long wick and was lower than this, it would become the distal line. For BCM 6, the distal line is the low of the basing candle. Okay, so you can see that the base is determined solely by the basing candle with base creation method 6. If the basing candle is counted as part of the base, this is how the base would be changed. So for base creation method 1, we know that our proximal line is the lowest candle body top in the base. So for BCM 1, there would be no change. It would be the same as in the prior scenario. It would be right here, the lowest base. Base creation method 2, the proximal line is the high of the candle with the lowest candle body top in the base. Okay, so here you can see this is the high of the lowest candle body. So again, there would be no change there. Base creation method 3, the proximal line is the highest candle body top in the base. Okay, originally our highest candle body top for base creation method 3 was this body right here. But since we're including the basing candle, now this will be our proximal line for base creation method 3. So hopefully this is starting to show you how that impacts things. BCM 4, the proximal line is the high of the candle with the highest candle body top in the base. So in this scenario, again, you can see for BCM 4, you're going to be now using the basing candle. And for 5, the proximal line is the high of the base. Again, 5 is going to be using the high of the basing candle. And then for 6, the proximal line is the high of the basing candle. So you can see that you have, when you include the basing candle as part of your base, it can result in you having a much wider base and more risk. The distal line is the lowest low of the leg in, leg out, or the base. So in this scenario, you would continue to have this wick be your distal line for base creation methods 1 through 5, and for base creation method 6, which is just determined by the basing candle, this would be your distal line. So let me show you where to find these settings on your tool. Okay, so let me show you this here. We're going to go in. This is all set at default settings right now. We're going to go in and edit our studies. And let me show you where you can change the setting for your base creation method. It's under commonly used settings. You can see band creation method. Okay, so that will determine how it is created. The default on this is 3. Then the next setting that you need to be aware of is if you want to include the basing candle, which is the candle mode. So basing candle mode right here. And let me show you the details on this. Okay, so our default setting for the basing candle mode, and this has to be changed for each and every pattern. If is 3, so 3 is your default, And if this value is used, the tool will first search for an independent leg-in candle, and if not found, will fall back to using a basing candle. So that's your default. Okay. If you use setting 1, the leg-in must be the candle before the basing candle. So the basing candle is not part of the pattern. And then setting 2, when you use this value, the leg-in candle will be the basing candle, which starts the base. So you can see that based on what your preference is as far as defining the base, this will determine the band creation methods and how your bases are drawn. Another setting that we have here determines whether or not the basing candle is considered part of the base. So the default setting here is 3. And when that value is used, the basing candle is counted as part of the base. And so, it also can act as a leg-in candle for the base. So that is the default setting. If you use a 1, then the basing candle will be counted as part of the base. And if you use 2, it will not be counted as part of the base. So you can see how these two settings, the leg-in candle mode and the basing candle mode, can affect how you would have your base drawn and the size of the base. Okay, so if you look here, we've got our basing leg-in candle mode and our basing candle mode. So these are the two settings that you'll need to change if you want to have something other than the default settings of 3 for each of these. And you will have to do it for each pattern. Okay, so this is your drop base rally. You're going to have to do it for your rally base rally right here, your rally base drop right here, and your drop base drop. So that's where you would alter those settings. So this is to give you a brief overview of the different band creation methods and how the basing candle settings can impact the band creation. Now, word of warning, there are a lot of other settings that determine whether or not a band is drawn on your chart. So this is just giving you a brief overview of the settings, and we'll have more detailed videos on the different things that impact whether or not a band is drawn on your chart.